Wooddale Community Development Commission. My name is Roy Sy. I'm chairman of the Wooddale Community Development Commission. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Damasco?
Here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. St. Marie?
Here.
Mr. Vant is absent. Mr. Woods?
Here.
Chairman Sy.
Here. I declare a quorum present. I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the June 19, 2017 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. We have one public hearing scheduled tonight. All testimony will be given under oath. At the hearing, there will be an opportunity for the public to offer testimony and to comment. Following the public hearing, our deliberations will be open to the public in the sense that all invited and to listen and watch. The public, however, shall not speak during our deliberations. State statute requires a vote by a majority of the members of the Community Development Commission for those matters that will be referred to City Council for approval, and for those matters which the Community Development Commission will make the final decision. Staff will provide a general description of the proposal followed by their assessment. We will ask that the applicants here tonight then give specific evidence to demonstrate that the proposal meets the standards of approval for the request. The burden is on the applicant to prove the case. With respect to others who wish to speak, you may give an opinion or present specific evidence as to why you believe the applicant meets or fails to meet the standards for the request. Finally, we'll strictly adhere to the schedule for tonight's meeting. In the case of an applicant or in the event you or your attorney have filed an appearance as an objector, you will be afforded sufficient time within which to present your evidence. Whether you're a member of the public wishing to make a statement for the record or a witness testifying on behalf of the applicant or an objector, you will be placed under oath and then begin by stating your name and address. If you're not presenting evidence on behalf of the applicant or objector, your remarks will be taken after the applicant and all those who have filed an appearance as an objector have presented all their evidence. You will be subject to questions by the Community Development Commission and the applicant or objector. To allow as many people as possible to be heard, if you are not an applicant or an objector, we would request that your remarks be limited to 5 minutes. If additional time is needed, the hearing will be continued to our next available hearing date. I will now call the matter before us this evening. The first matter, the matter we have tonight is case number 2017 CDC-05 in regard to a proposed building height built to line, driveway width, and driveway offset variations. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of Mittel Boulevard and Mark Street, commonly known as 1235 Mittel Drive, Wooddale. Hope One Limited Partnership is the petitioner and owner of the property. Will the secretary please note that same commissioners are present? I declare there is a quorum present. Staff, please provide a summary of the request and indicate when notice of the hearing was published and whether you have the certificate of publication from the newspaper.
Would you raise your right hand, state your name and address, please?
Mo Khan, 404 North Wooddale Road, Wooddale, Illinois.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you, Chairman Sy. The public hearing notice was published on June 19th, and the notice of publication is on file for this case. The subject property, 1235 Mittel Boulevard, is located, as you said, on the southeast corner of Mittel Boulevard and Mark Street, which is outlined by the yellow. Currently, it is improved with approximately 41,000 square foot office building and also on-site surface parking. There is also a access easement with neighboring property to the east, 1226 Michael Drive, which allows access off of Mark Street onto the property with a curb, essentially a cut through for them. The proposed site plan the petitioners are proposing is an approximately 81,000 square foot warehouse distribution facility with access from both Mark Street and from Mittel Boulevard, with on-site surface parking to accommodate employees. And they're going to be maintaining the access easement as they're required to do so. The truck dock doors will be on the south-facing part of the building. These are some conceptual design plans provided by the petitioners to kind of show you what the building will look like after construction has been completed. It is going to be considered a Class A warehouse distribution facility. Part of that is the prime location, how it's going to be so close to Illinois 390 or the Elgin O'Hare Expressway. As you can see, it's not going to just be a precast, completely precast panel. It's going to incorporate various other architectural features. It's going to make it aesthetically more pleasing. You can see they have brick finishes in various colors and also kind of like a wood trim, as well as various glass features that are going to be incorporated into the building. This is the northwest perspective of the building, the northeast. This is a close-up of the building on the east and west elevations, and the north and south elevation. As you can see from every elevation except for the south where the truck doors are going to be located, they're incorporating various architectural features to make it more aesthetically pleasing to the eye as you're passing by. The dock doors is just kind of harder to do because you have to fit in all the dock doors, but all the other sides of the building are going to be, various features are going to be incorporated, as well as landscaping on site. In terms of the UDO, in compliance with the UDO, the proposed site plan meets the lot coverage requirement of 80%. The proposal is 77.5%. They meet all the corner side and rear setback. The only two that don't meet as of yet is the maximum height requirement and the build-to line. However, those are the two they're requesting a variation for. Also, as a note, another applicant has petitioned to remove the requirement for the build-to line and make a setback. If that petition is granted and approved by the city council, this variation won't be needed anymore, because then they would be meeting that 40 feet front yard setback. So this is just in case city council does not approve the other petition. In terms of the off-street parking and loading, compliance with the UDO, it meets the parking lot setback of at least 10 feet. They're providing 20.62 feet. They're providing more than enough parking spaces required. Our code requires them to provide 57 with 3 handicap stalls. They're providing 110 with 5 accessible stalls, so they're going well above the requirement. They meet the drive aisle width and the intersection setback. In terms of the driveway width for the property line, street line, and the offset for the driveway, that's what they're requesting variations for, so they don't meet those yet, but if they're granted variation, they'll be meeting those requirements. In terms of compliance with the comprehensive plan, the comprehensive plan designates it as a business park. The land use category is intended to provide for a compatible mixture of office, research, and low-intensity distribution and light manufacturing. The proposed use of this building is going to be warehouse distribution, and it will be a low-intensity variety because of the size of the building, which won't allow it to be any type more than low intensity. In terms of meeting the standards for granting variation, all 4 variation meet all 8 standards of the variations. The one that I want to kind of pinpoint is a driveway offset. The minimum requirement is 150 feet. The petitioner is proposing 121 feet. And the reason why we believe, staff thinks it meets the variation standards, if we can go, let's see. Right here you have a raised landscape median, which prevents any left turns being made onto or from the property. So the landscape median is raised, not a flat median. So if a passenger vehicle or truck trailer were trying to make a left turn, they would have to kind of go over the landscape median, which is just can't happen. So because of the landscape median being there and it being posted only right in, right out, staff thinks it meets all the standards because it's not going to affect any traffic that's coming from the hotel, which is across the street, or any other traffic coming southbound Mittel Boulevard, because that raised landscape median is going to prohibit any left turns being made. So it can only be a right in, right out, and it will be posted as such. Because the petitioners request is consistent with the UDO, consistent with the comprehensive plan, and then meets all the variation standards. We believe the CDC should recommend approval for this request, and if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions from the commissioner? What about, are we gonna have to do anything with storm water management with this new building?
So stormwater management will be met during the permitting process. The petitioners plan to provide all the stormwater management that they need to provide. There are various on-site detentions in the Hamilton Lakes Business Park. Any additional that they would need to provide, they'll provide on-site, and they'll be doing the permitting process.
Okay. Would the petitioner like to give a presentation or provide additional information? Anyone that's making a statement on behalf of the petitioner must be sworn in. Please stand and be sworn in.
Tom Maher.
Up to the podium.
Over there.
Yes, you're on TV tonight.
Beautiful.
And would you raise your right hand, state your name and address, please?
Tom Maher, Hamilton Partners, 300 Park Boulevard, Suite 201, Itasca, Illinois.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. First of all, I would say that I don't have anything to add to the report that staff put together. We had worked really close, starting with Ed and with Kelly, and then moved to Kelly and with Mo, and this design really has been a collaboration in many ways of thoughts that we had, on the initial design, and then refinement of the design to meet with city standards. Bob Gudmundson could address the stormwater issues if you wanted to talk a little bit more about that, Chairman. And if we could, Mo, could you back up to the elevation of the building? There was one thing I wanted to point out on the close-up. Could you go back to the close-up? This is actually a concrete form liner panel. So it's an architectural concrete product. It'll look like brick, but it's not brick, or it'll have a brick type image because it'll have 3/4 inch reveals. And then this section around here that Mo had referred to is, and it really does look like a wood product. It's actually what the architect has got specified as Cortan steel. And I just had a discussion with my partner about that this morning. He's got a little bit of a concern with that steel, and it's a kind of a, I don't know how to describe it as other than a self-rusting kind of product. And so his concern is, we'll end up with drip lines down here and it'll look unsightly. So that would be one thing that I put a little bit of an asterisk on the design, that he's asked me to go back to the architect and refine that particular detail. And there was another product that I was exposed to today. It was called an architectural wood siding, which, I don't know if that means it's plastic or whatever, but we'll have something in there that'll, help the office punch out. I think really more than anything, I guess I look at tonight as kind of a lucky night. I proposed to my wife on July 17th, so I got a yes there. I'm hoping we get a yes here. It looks like we will. And, then beyond that, it's been just about 20 years since our firm has built a building in Wooddale. And primarily that's because we ran out of land. This building and the site that we're building on was part of an exchange for value when we split off the Triangle Crow Company. And so the partners that I work with in the industrial division, I don't want to say they inherited this building, but they didn't build this building. And in many ways, I look at this building as well as, there's 2 other office buildings up at Mittel and Devon that were really, they were done on an opportunistic basis. I don't think that's necessarily the right place for an office building to have been built. But at the time, they were both build-to-suits, and so they made economic sense. And as you would have seen in our report, we owned the building for 22 years, and about half the time it was occupied and actually flowed cash, and the other half the time it was vacant. Versus we've got a portfolio in Wooddale, it's primarily right on Wooddale Road, we call it our Mark Street portfolio. That's 659,000 square feet. Over that same period of time, our occupancy ratio is 93% plus, with vacancy of about 6. So this, repositioning of the asset really, in a lot of ways, we're really excited that we can come back into the city. It's been great not only recently working with the city, but over our history as a firm to be a corporate member of.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, she did. Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I thought I ran past my time limit. I'm getting a little bit out of roll here, so I apologize.
Can you stand closer to the mic?
I apologize. And so what I reflected on today, that I realized the last building we had built in Wooddale is at 1121, 1151 North Wooddale Road, and that was just about 20 years ago. So we are really excited to be able to come in with a new Class A product, and at the same time, put that in Wooddale and add value to the community. It's been great for us to be, in a lot of ways, I call us a corporate resident, and we're very appreciative of that relationship. And really, you've got a great group, starting with that and everything that he's got going on, and just as I told him earlier, it's just good to do business with the city. So it's been real seamless, and Mo helped me with my putting this whole thing together. I was a little jealous of whoever wrote that final presentation. I wish I had those talents that I could have put it together like that. Mr. Chairman, would you like to hear from Bob on the stormwater at all, or?
No, I think Mo covered it.
Okay.
In fact, only one question.
Yes.
We would appreciate you keeping the city staff regards to the agreement for the common driveway.
Yes.
Keep that update so we don't have any problems down the line.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that, and the only issue, and the neighboring property to the east is owned by Prologis, whatever the right way to pronounce that. And we've got a very good relationship with them. We've been partners with them on a large portfolio in Elk Grove Village. We've already communicated with them that we've got this construction that's going to take place. We've sent them the plans, and now there's also as part of your standards, we need to build. Is it a 6-foot fence, Bob, around the property during construction?
Construction, 6-foot.
Yeah, 6-foot chain link. So we're going to have it closed off for that period of time, and really just from a safety standpoint, it wouldn't be practical to try and keep that drive open. They have access to their property off of Mittel, and they can come in along the north end of the property. But at one time, Crow had owned both properties, and they granted that easement, so you'd have this illusion that you were, not illusion, I guess you do come to the front door as you come in off that drive. But yeah, we'll definitely work with them, and that drive will be open.
Does any member of the Community Development Commission have any questions for the petitioner? Is there anyone in objection to the petition, or any member of the general public in attendance who wishes to make a comment or has a question regarding this request? If so, please stand and be placed under oath. Is there any further questions or comments? Having no additional testimony or comments, I will now close the public hearing for case number 2017 CDC-05. We will now proceed into deliberations on the merit of this request. I believe that there's a text amendment coming up regarding the height of the, height variations in the industrial area.
There is a text amendment for the build to line requirement. The text amendment was to remove the requirement of the build to line and make it simply a front yard setback.
Okay. And it basically, we're widening the entries for safety of the truck drivers and for
Yeah.
safety of the public and for free flowing of commerce to go in and out of the building.
Yeah, so the wider driveway will allow for truck trailers to safely and more efficiently access the property. With the driveway width we allow now, which is 34 feet at the property line and 44 feet at the street line, it limits truck trailers to quickly access the properties. So you'll typically have a backup of truck trailers. So having the wider driveway, you kind of reduce any potential congestion on public street, and they don't have to worry about jumping the curb or backing up and moving forward like you often see trucks with smaller driveways.
Is there any comments from the board? Being no further discussion, I will make a motion relative to the variation request at 1235 Middle Drive. And my motion will be, based on the submitted petition and testimony presented, the proposed variations meet the standards and are consistent with the UDO and comprehensive plan, and therefore I move that the Community Development Commission adopt the findings of fact included within the staff memo as findings of the Community Development Commission, and recommend the City Council approval of case number 2017-CDC-05. That's my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Peterson or Damasco? Peterson? Thank you. Mr. Damasco? Roll call. I don't mean
Yes,
roll
yes,
call,
sir.
I mean a
Yes.
motion to approve. Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. St. Marie?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
And Chairman Tsai.
Yes. The motion is to recommend approval of the variation request at 1235 Middle Drive. Carries. Is there any report from the staff?
Yeah. 1500 Michael Drive, which came in for that height variation and driveway width variation, that their construction permit was approved and issued last week. And there's also potentially one public hearing for the August meeting. And on the dais, if you can see, there was a little information left for you for the Plan Commission training being offered during the APA Illinois conference in September. Kelly's asking if you can let her know by July 24th, I believe, if you are interested in attending. The Plan Commission training just kind of goes over the responsibilities of being a Plan Commissioner for a city or a village. So if you can kind of look over that information packet, tells you a little bit more in detail what they kind of go over and who the teachers are. And if you can let her know by July 24th if you're interested in being signed up for that.
Is there any other business?
Nope.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
Mo, what did you say about